We're going to explain the PyTorch runtime error. mat1 and mat2 must have the same dtype. This error pops up when you try to perform an operation in PyTorch, like addition, subtraction, multiplication, or even matrix multiplication, between two tensors that have different data types. PyTorch is very strict about this. It needs the tensors to be of the same type before it can do any math on them. Let's break down why this happens and how to fix it. 1. Understanding data types. PyTorch uses various data types to represent numbers, similar to other programming languages. Common ones include torch float2, single precision floating point numbers, torch float4, double precision floating point numbers, torch.int2, 32-bit integers, and torch.intc4, 64-bit integers. The type attribute of a tensor tells you its data type. 2. Why the error occurs. The error arises because PyTorch's optimized operations are designed to work efficiently with tensors of a consistent data type. Mixing types can lead to unexpected behavior and performance issues. For example, trying to add a float2 tensor to an int32 tensor requires PyTorch to implicitly convert one of the types, which adds overhead and can be prone to errors. 3. How to check data types. Before performing any operation, always check the data types of your tensors. You can do this using the touch or dtype attribute. For example, print tensor1.dtype, print tensor2.type. This simple check will often save you hours of debugging. 4. Methods to fix the error. There are several ways to resolve the mat1 and mat2 must have the same dtype error. The most straightforward is to ensure both tensors have the same data type before the operation. 4.1. Type casting. Use the type method to explicitly convert one tensor to match the data type of the other. For instance, if tensor1 is float2 and tensor2 is int32, you could convert tensor2 to float2 like this. Tensor2 equals tensor2 type torch float22. Then you can perform your operation. Remember that casting can sometimes result in loss of precision, e.g., converting a floating point to an integer truncates the decimal part. 4.2. Creating tensors with the same dtype. When you initially create your tensors, specify the desired data type using the dtype argument. For example, tensor1 equals torch.tensor, 1, 2, 3, dtype torch float. Tensor2 equals torch.tensor 4, 5, 6, dtype torch float2. 5. Debugging tip. If you're unsure about the data types in your code, adding print tensor1.dtype and print tensor2.dtype statements just before the line where the error occurs will immediately pinpoint the problem. PyTorch's error messages are usually pretty precise in indicating the offending tensors. Always check those messages carefully. In short, the mat1 and a mat2 must have the same dtype error is a common PyTorch issue easily resolved by verifying and ensuring both your tensors are of the same data type before performing any arithmetic or matrix operations. Always check your tensor types using dtype and use the typed method for typecasting to achieve consistency. This prevents unexpected behavior and improves code reliability.